But you've got these people holding out this carrot saying, hey, spaghetti with black pepper, that's the best thing in the world. You know, would you believe that? Okay.
Guess what Angelo's making today? It's not even Sunday. Wow, I'm lucky. We got all this basil for €1.
Okay, we're Frank and Angie. We've lived abroad 8 years and have never paid more than $300 or $400 for 3 or 4 bedroom houses, furnished and unfurnished. How do you like them apples? And today, listen, that's important. It's all about mindset. But today we're just going to talk about 3 things: how to love your new country abroad, or how to enjoy your new country abroad.
I think it's how to enjoy your new country abroad.
Yeah. And so the first thing would be not to have any expectations. And the reason why that's so important is because you've got all these retire abroad media out there that is actually spearheading a sort of expectations into people's minds with their marketing materials. And so people are coming, you know, already with expectations like the very best place in the world to retire. And this has been going on for years. You know, the very beginnings of when we first went to Cuenca. Yeah, they were doing that. So
you don't want to get disappointed, do you?
Well, it's very subjective because, for example, some people like black pepper on their spaghetti and some don't. One's not better than the other. I mean, it's just...
That's true.
It's just some people like this, some people like that. So, but you've got these people holding out this carrot saying, hey, spaghetti with black pepper, that's the best thing in the world. You know, would you believe that? Okay, so point made, right?
Yeah.
Instead of having expectations, would be to have an open mind and be ready for anything.
Exactly.
Be ready for anything. Yeah. And because half of this stuff that you're being told is fluff, you know, it's marketing, sales material.
And they also leave out a lot of stuff anyway. So, you know, when you go there, you're just gonna see it and then
yeah, you won't see the stuff that's left out until you get there, and then you'll see it. And then the second thing would be to the second thing would be to be willing to at least utilize a little bit of language, not saying to become fluent at all, and I know we talk about this a lot, but it's so crucial to the idea that you're going abroad to a different country, a different culture that doesn't speak your language. I mean, there's a whole lot more that we could say about that because it ties into all these other reasons why people that go abroad do things the way they do them. And the foundation of that is the language. Just even being willing to just know a few phrases go a long way. We're just talking about being willing to be more of an extrovert. I remember when we first got to Cuenca, Ecuador, that we would play a lot of charades in the store with people because as much as we wanted to communicate, we didn't know Spanish at all before going to Ecuador.
You'd have to do something.
But yet we were willing to sit there and play silly games in the store, and they would have a laugh with us, which creates a kind of a bond, you know, with people. And they see the foreigner as somebody that's easy to get along with and interesting and funny. And
I think it's the same way here in Italy too, because they already do that with their hands a lot. And
you know, instead of being seen as somebody that's just a cash machine, you know, he's somebody that has way more money than everybody else. And so the last thing would be, which kind of ties in with both, and they all kind of fit in together, is to have a positive can-do attitude. But mostly I wanted to say about that is just to be more flexible, because things just don't, and it ties in with expectations. They aren't going to be the way you expect them. In order to have a positive, good experience, to allow the differences to be what they are, and to at least momentarily accept them on some level. If you've gone through the honeymoon stage and decided that your positive and negative ledger, your negative ledger is more heavily balanced on that negative side, then that's different. But if it's still more positively weighed on the positive side, that's great too. So I'm just saying though that when you first get there, to allow these things to kind of come in, because what we tend to do is to ignore them and deny them, and then it just prolongs something. I think it's really important for people to be super accepting of what really is, instead of denying, because I think people would save themselves a lot of headaches from prolonging something that maybe they should have just been a little bit more decisive about in the very beginning, whether that means staying put or leaving, and being flexible to change your mind when it's time to change your mind, and not being set on something because it's the thing that you should be doing. You should be liking it here because it's the best place to retire in the world, so you should be liking it because everybody else all over the forums and everything says they do. So
So the three things are: not have expectations, learn at least basic language,
and be extroverted,
and have a good positive attitude.
Have a good positive, open-minded
Those are
attitude.
the three biggest things.
Because culture shock also is part of that. Being elastic and accepting is a culture shock.
Right.
That things are going to be way different. We see people write on forums, even in regards to people say, oh, developed country, undeveloped, first world, third world. These terminology are thrown all over the place, but really, we see Americans coming to Italy and getting on forums and complaining about Italians that hang their laundry out to dry. Well, actually, that's just a cultural thing. That's a practical thing to do.
Right.
Matter of fact, we did it in the state for years. We always hung our laundry out to dry because we're just practical people. It just makes sense.
It's normal to us already,
It's
even
normal.
before we moved here.
When you have, the space and you've got the weather,
Exactly.
it makes sense to, it's like, to me, it makes sense that if I'm walking from my house, if the park's 150 meters, I'm going to walk it. I'm not going to get in the car. But Americans get in the car and drive 150 meters. I had a neighbor that did that all the time. They're constantly driving, 300 yards to the store to get. He was in and out 5 times a day. But anyway, all right. Well, thanks for listening to our ramblings of 3 things that will make you love your new country.
The 3 biggest things, I think.
3 biggest things. Yeah, and then if you really want to really hack a country, any country, and not be limited to where you're being told is the best place, check out the links below. And also, you know what to do if you like the video. And thanks again. Have a wonderful day.